The subject of our video today is the Paragon of Good, the Bane of the Undead, the Holy Champion, the Paladin. In Battlefield, Paladin can fill many roles, from stopping the tides of the enemy in the front row, to healing and buffing wounded allies, to calling holy judgment upon the enemies from afar. Paladin is one of the most versatile classes in Pathfinder. We'll be going over the basic characteristics of Paladin first, then one of the most iconic features of Paladin and his biggest damage source, Smite Evil. Third, another iconic feature of Paladin, Lay on Hands ability and its derivatives. Fourth, one of the most overlooked aspects of Paladin, his auras. Fifth, we will be taking a look at his spellcasting ability, and I will give a few recommendations for each spell level. Sixth, we will take a quick look at the ultimate ability of the Paladin, the Holy Champion. And lastly but not least, a quick overview of the rest of his abilities. Firstly, Paladin is a trained part of militia and as such is trained to take part in wars, standing in the front lines. Paladin is capable of taking punishment and has experience fighting. In game, this is represented by the Paladin having a D10 hit dice. Although, the Paladin does not spend all his time honing his sportsmanship any further than the basic required to build more versatile weaponry. His military training is shown as him having a high basic attack bonus curve and proficiency with all simple and martial weapons, as well as proficiency with all armors and shields, excluding the tower shield. The Paladin's devotion to his deity is exhibited by him having minor spellcasting abilities later on, but only up to 4th level spells. His little free time is also reflected upon his skill points gained, which are scarce, only 2 per level. His mind and body are trained to be as one. These attributes are reflected in game as such. His mental and physical prowess are represented by as him having good will save and a good fortitude save. The previously mentioned flexibility is shown in Paladin's choice in key attributes. If the Paladin wants to present himself as more of a military-focused fighter, then strength is his key attribute. If he however wants to be more of a defender than destroyer, his highest attribute should be constitution. In the case that he wants to be more of a leader type, by helping his allies and leading them, his key attribute should be charisma, since it affects his spellcasting ability and lay on hands ability. This focus would also represent him as a more of a priest-like devout worshipper, reflecting him as more of a missionary of his god. Smite Evil is very basic ability. You choose an enemy and you smite it. If it's evil, you gain bonus. If it's not evil, you don't gain bonus. And if it's undead, you also gain extra damage bonus. It's very simple, but it is immensely powerful against undead creatures. And therefore it is the Paladin's most powerful ability. In role-playing terms, Smite Evil is the Paladin's ability to call upon the powers of good, to smite her enemies and strike them down with the wrath of 1,000 fiery suns. In game terms, however, it's basically just 4 bonus to attack and defenses against her enemies. But the enemies must be evil for the Smite Evil to give its full benefit to the Paladin. Lay on Hands is the Paladin's restorative power to call upon the holy powers to heal his or his allies' wounds. It is also augmented by the Paladin's Mercies, which give the target of Lay on Hands protection against status effects that the Paladin has chosen. Later, Paladin gains the ability to extend his Lay on Hands as an area of effect. As per the priest ability, channel positive energy. This functionality is immensely useful on the front lines to keep the front line healed up and to take down waves of undead. Roleplay-wise, Paladin can call upon holy powers to give him or his allies the strength to carry on even after the fight has gone on for some time, as well as to protect them from further harm. Gameplay-wise, it just recovers health. However, in character, channel positive energy transforms the Paladin into a walking beacon of light, an instrument of his god who rebukes the undead in the Paladin's vicinity. As the Paladin grows stronger, he becomes a beacon of holy powers resonating with auras granted to him by his deity. As such, he gains a number of passive auras that are always affecting his allies unless the Paladin is unconscious. He gains 6 different types of auras. First aura makes him radiate good as explained by the spell Detect Good. With the aura of courage, the Paladin becomes a banner of hope for his allies as it gives the ability to ward off fear effects. The aura of resolve transforms the Paladin into a leader that his allies will rally to. This effect is transcribed as giving his allies bonus against charm effects. With experience, the Paladin becomes so righteous that even his allies gain the ability to smite evil, this being represented in his aura of justice. As his powers grow, the Paladin's weapons become an extension of his belief. This manifests in his aura of faith, and with it his weapons reflect the Paladin's good alignment. In the peak of his powers, he gains aura of righteousness. His faith transcends the mortal plane, granting him general protection of compulsion effects. Even though the Paladin is mostly trained as a frontline fighter, his devotion grants him minor spellcasting abilities. He has powerful buffs and supportive spells, but he must pray for 1 hour in the morning to receive his spells. His most powerful spells are gained later, but he acquires very few powerful spells very early on. Here are my recommendations for each level. First level spells. Paladin does not have many good choices for first level spells, but at least he has some. Divine Favor. A basic weapon buff, very useful to increase the damage output of the Paladin, however outclassed later on. Sun Metal. An optional weapon buff increases the damage output differently than Divine Favor, as well as giving an optional damage source. Second level spells. The Paladin gains one of the best defensive spells, but otherwise there are not really all that good level 2 spells for Paladin. Shield Other. Basic protection spell that allows the Paladin to share the pain of his allies, very useful even later on. Weapon of Awe. Simple weapon buff, a very useful and low level spell that increases the damage output by a bit. Third level spells. Some of the Paladin's best defensive spells are level 3 spells. Sanctify Armor. Defensive enchantment for armor, simple and effective. Cure Moderate Wounds. A basic healing spell. It is always useful for someone in the party to have some healing spells. Remove Curse. Occasionally a very useful spell. You wouldn't think that you need something so simple, and then comes that one moment when the DM decides to curse someone. Fourth level spells. The Paladin's 4 level spells are some of the best spells in the game. Holy Sword. This is simply put the most powerful weapon enchantment in the game. Cure Serious Wounds. All cure spells are useful, especially the most powerful ones. This just happens to be one of them. Restoration. Very useful spell occasionally, like Remove Curse. Except more useful than Remove Curse, because curses are rarer than basic attribute damage. Sacrificial Oath. Similar to Shield Other, a very useful spell to protect one of the more vulnerable allies from all effects, including damage. Bestow Grace of the Champion. This spell just basically promotes an ally to be a Paladin. At level 20, the Paladin becomes an avatar of his god. He becomes the bane of all evil outsiders and a great supporter for his friends, maximizing the effects of his channel positive energy and lay on hands features. He becomes resistant to damage and his smite becomes awesomely powerful against evil creatures. Paladin gains numerous additional abilities during his career. This will be a quick overview of them. Detect Evil is a simple passive detection ability, often useful especially in role-playing terms. Every paladin has ability to sense evil in his vicinity. Often in big cities, this ability however can be fairly alarming, since many merchants and just plain shellfish people can fall under the evil alignment. Divine Grace is an immensely powerful ability that symbolizes the protection the paladin gains from his deity. Divine Health is often a fairly useful ability, but usually is only a very nice bonus. Divine Bond. The paladin can choose in fairly low level between a free magic weapon and a free mount. This ability is just plain unfair compared to other classes' abilities, since magic weapons are often in high demand and they are very pricey, and mount is one of the best possible allies to have in a battle. Thank you for watching my video. I'd really love if you leave your positive and negative comments down below, and if you liked, subscribe and give me recommendations what other classes you would like me to go over. Anyway, thanks for watching, have a great day, Gun Moo out.